souls out there. Today, we are going to not dread the retrograde that's coming up at the end of June. Okay, we're not going to dread that at all. Mercury is going to be retrograding in the sign of emotional Cancer. Okay, and while the rest of the internet and all the people are panicking and having delays and whatnot, we're going to learn to balance the scales because we will be working with the Justice card a little bit this week. There's my sound. Yes. Okay. So if you're the one who's ready to use this profound retrograde energy, all the retrogrades this year are in water signs. Okay. We already had the Pisces one, the Cancer one is coming up, and then the Scorpio one later. We're going to use this justice archetype to pull on some of those energies and have it as a power card as we lead into this. So we've got time. You've got plenty of time to prepare. Okay, the retrograde energy, it will probably be, well, you could argue we're already in the pre-shadow of it. However, the retrograde itself doesn't start till the end of the month, 29th or 30th, depending where you're at. So just, have that as a mental note on your calendar. All right, today also 12 signs, all of them get a card. All of them today, every sign, okay? And I recommend you having your sun, moon, rising and north node ready. Make note of that, have it down, and listen to the power card for each sign today when we do those readings. So I've got some people already showing up. Hello, how is everyone? Aloha, aloha. We've got the party like a Gemini little party favor hat on here because we are in Gemini season, and we talk about some heavier topics here on the channel. We talk about the real stuff, right? And so we got to have a little fun with it. To anyone who is Gemini out there, happy birthday. Happy birthday season. Karen says the retrograde is already beating you. The AC unit is acting weird. Oh no, very similarly for me this morning, I was down messing with my home humidifier because I was like, it's way too humid in here. What is going on? And I know the air is working and cooling and everything, but I live in a super humid place. Sometimes where I live in Missouri is even more humid than Texas, than some places in the South, if that tells you anything. So our relative humidity is higher here. Mm, I hope you figure that out. I know it's like, that's the last thing you want to have a problem with. Karen, I'm interested. Did you see, I saw there was like a Michigan comet or meteorite or something. Did you hear the sonic boom where you are? In Sync Coach is here. Mirjam, hello, hello. It's rounding out to the evening time for you, I think, right? June 12th is your birthday. All right, everyone, let's wish NSYNC Coach 55, Mirjam, a happy birthday. Happy birthday. That's coming up for you in 7 days. Happy birthday to you. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. I know we have some other Geminis that sometimes show up, so hopefully they'll be on later. Yes, happy birthday. Join me in wishing NSYNC Coach a happy birthday. All right, nice deep breath. Whew. A few reminders. Okay, so I did do a pinned message in the chat because today's live is not personal readings, it's collective. But those of you that come and hang out, you know that the messages are still freaking stellar, and you'll usually always you'll always receive what you need to hear for the day. So even though these are not personal, so to speak, I am tuning my greater being in with the energy of your greater beings. Those of you that are watching live and on the replay, those of you that come across this, and that tends to be the energy I pick up. So it can feel more personalized. So while these aren't quote unquote personal one-on-one, one question Q&A readings, we have a great time in the chat. So let me know what's going on for you. Drop your sign in the chat. Just make yourself at home. Tell me what's up. What's up in these energies? I mean, as several of you have already shared. So, but continue to share more. Whew. All right. And along that same line, for the ladies out there in the creators community, the women's membership, it's called the Creators Current, is open. The doors are open. And now is the time. There's a window of time. And we're getting in before this retrograde, ladies. So now is the time to sign up for the membership. Okay. Some of you that have been here, some of my moderators, all of you would have received emails with a special coupon code. Okay. Make sure you use that when you go to the checkout to join the membership. But we would love to have it. I'm looking for spiritually mature ladies. Okay. This is not, I'm not going to do the work for you, but I am going to do a lot of the heavy lifting and research and astrology stuff. Okay, so that, and combined with tarot and combined with somatics and whatever else the community needs. Some of the things in that membership are going to evolve as we begin to meet together. So there's a plan, there's a structure, and I'm going to do the heavy lifting for busy, spiritually mature women out there. But if that interests you, the link is in the description. Okay. And I would love to have you on board. And everything you need to know is at that link, the sales page. There's a video, there's more details. Okay. For those of you who like to go through everything, right? Before you invest in yourself, and it is an investment in yourself, but read through that. The FAQs are at the bottom. That should answer everything, but also there's a way to connect with me if you have any additional questions before you sign up. Okay, so check that out. Also, the Archetypal Activation Audio Library. I was able to get the Justice activation in there yesterday. So it was the activation for this archetype, the Justice card, which is also what I covered in my Wednesday video. It's like here on YouTube, a little under 7 minute, like 6-7 minute video on the Justice card to familiarize yourself, to give you some reflections. This is a big one. Justice is a big conversation because of the illusions and the things that are coming to light and the whistle blowing and all of that. So it's a perfect time to work with that energy. Your Self Evolved is here. Hello, Tressa. Yes. Oh, and you're both June 12th. Oh, happy birthday to our community creators, Mirjam and Teresa. Happy birthday to both of you. A little bit early here. It's on the 12th. So 5, 6, 7, we'll probably wish it again to you next week too. But yes, what a great day to have a birthday. Two creators have their birthday. And I love saying like birth, like B, and then got a hair in my mouth. EARTHDAY's birthday, because it's your incarnation day. Oh my gosh. Whew. Okay. Now that I have that hair out of my mouth, it's my own hair flying about. Okay. So happy birthday to our Geminis. Hello, Zany. Welcome to the creators community. Drop your sign in if you'd like. We're going to get into several different juicy things today. We're going to start with an oracle series of messages. We're going to base it on the archetype of justice, cutting through the illusion. Everything you need to know is in the description if you want additional information or you want to connect with the archetype library. And, we are going to be looking ahead and kind of preparing ourselves for the upcoming Mercury retrograde in Cancer. But before we do that, we're going to get some oracle messages to kind of get in alignment, to get into balance, and to maybe have the universe reveal to us where we're out of balance. Okay. So sometimes we get the messages to support the balance, and sometimes we get the universe saying, check, hey, take a look here. Your check engine light's on. Let's get this fixed before we move forward. Okay. And so we're wanting to balance our energy so that we can clearly navigate, because we know in the chaotic collective field, there's a lot of illusion. There's a lot of things coming to light. Okay, there's a lot of truths being revealed. And for many people, it's not even close to what they thought it was. We've got like the tip of the iceberg, okay? And some of it is not so pleasant. So the more aligned and balanced you can remain within yourself to be able to objectively observe and take aligned action, whatever that is for that, whatever calls to your soul. All right. That's what we're looking to enhance and to look into with these oracle messages. We want more details, universe. We want more details, because I will tell you what, about the rest of this year and next year is a time where things are very unknown, unexpected. And certainly we can look at the astrology, we can pull cards, we can do all these things and look into the energies, but there's so many different ways that, and different timelines that I see are converging right now. We don't know exactly what's going to happen, right? So let's put ourselves in a place of peace, okay? Let's put ourselves in a place of equilibrium so that we can navigate the big pendulum swings of the collective energies. And that's what we'll be working on today and talking about today. So, right now, we're kind of in this little bit of what I call a buffer zone or a buffer week astrologically. Other than our creator birthdays and just enjoying a little week here in Gemini season. We've got Mercury in Cancer. We're going to talk a little bit more about that and blend it in, because that connects to the retrograde energies today, and that'll come up in our tarot readings. All 12 signs are going to get a power card today, and we're going to get powerful messages for all 12 signs. However, we have a little bit of a buffer as far as transits go for this part of the week. And then it just seems like it builds and builds. And by the end of June, everything's converging. Okay. Like when we start the retrograde on the 29th of June, and that's gonna happen at 26 degrees of Cancer. Jupiter is going to be right there. Okay. But then Jupiter, pretty soon after that, is moving into Leo. So we have big shifts going on there. We have the retrograde starting up. Okay. Not to mention Neptune and Saturn still in Aries, squaring and doing things with this Mercury in Cancer. Okay. Woo. I just got to clear my throat. Excuse me. Grab some water here. Yeah, and we have, a new moon and a full moon this month that we'll be getting into, but I was really called to focus in on this Mercury energy for us, because prior to being in Cancer, Mercury was in Gemini. It likes being in Gemini, buzzy thoughts, ideas, inspirations, things like that. And I just got but Cancer kind of pulls everything behind the shell. It's like, what's going on? It's a more protective energy. So it's going to be themes of like home, like your home and where you feel safe and protected and comfortable, and what's going on there. So Zany is a Sagittarius. Ooh, well, we just had that, blue moon in Sagittarius. So that was some powerful energy. I personally struggled through that a little bit, but still here. Oh, we're glad to have you subscribe and on board. And I'll just mention, it's in the pinned comment for the chat, but the date for the next live Q&A here on the channel, where you can come on between 7 and 8 p.m. Central, is June 28th. So mark your calendars for that. It's a wonderful power hour of personal readings. We love coming together, and you get to drop your one theme or question in the chat and get a little personal mini reading. Get used to my style. Anyone who's new too, if you go down in the description, you can get to my website and check that out. If there's anything there, I have a couple courses up. I've launched a women's membership. So we are really going. We're going, okay? And we're going to keep going. And so this next year and a half, it's going to be so interesting. We've got the AI data center, super intelligence, like race going on, and people that we may or may not do not feel like should be making all these decisions, and in these competitions, we've got, talks about someone becoming a trillionaire while the majority of the world struggles, and there's people that don't even have clean water around the world, right? We have this insanity going on. So it's not going to help us to jump in that chaotic whirlpool, okay? It's going to help us to be aligned and centered so we can take grounded, mature action. And my little guy would like to say hi. This is Blazer the Morkie, everyone. He's a little cute guy. He's on my lap, but he's getting kind of like warm. So I'm going to put him down. He may bark sometimes during the, doing okay there? There he goes. Okay. He may bark sometimes during the live, but it's real life. It's real life here. So we flow with it. Let me know if you have little pets too and what they're up to. They're so cute. Like sometimes I'll be working at my desk and I look over and he's like laying on his back, just living his best life while I'm like over here, trying to get things done. And he's kind of a nice reminder to chill once in a while. Yeah, he is a sweetie. He's a sweetheart. He's a lovey-dovey. Now he's over there on his snuggie bed. I call it his little snuggie bed. He's digging. He likes to dig like that and get a nice comfortable spot going. So, all right. Let's get into the oracle messages. Yes, you have a dog too. Yeah. They have a nice way of kind of bringing you back sometimes to what's important and not sweating the small stuff and kind of just, being happy, being happy. All right. So as we get into the oracle messages today, remember we're focusing on and we're holding in our minds and our hearts the energy of the Justice card and what this brings up for us. Okay. Notice the symbols going on in this card. We have the Sword of Truth in the character's right hand, and in their left hand, we have the scales. The Justice, Lady Justice, you could call her, sits between two pillars, robed in red. And look at this tiny little white foot peeking out of the red robes, representing clarity, purity, and innocence, right? Bringing a balance. Justice card was kind of rougher for me to work through personally because it's hard for me sometimes to detach from the injustices and the imbalance in the world to really be able to embody this energy. All right. And so, it helps to kind of have the conversation about it and kind of understand that a lot of people are struggling with that. It's hard to look at sometimes. It's hard to observe without, especially if you're empathic, a deeply sensitive person, without getting drawn in to that energy, right? Or at least absorbing some of it. So that's why I design the Major Arcana series of videos here on YouTube that get launched every Wednesday to help familiarize us and deepen our relationship to these archetypes. All right, so let me know. Justice is also connected with the sign of Libra. Let me know if you have any big Libra placements. Now, see, my Libra, I think Insync Coach and we have like maybe some outer planets, Pluto in Libra, I have Uranus and Pluto, I think. And so the outer planets kind of represent collective energies, where the inner planets will represent more personal energies. So it's easier for me to be looking at the collective and seeing the imbalance. I see the birthday wishes are flowing. We're going to go to the Beyond Lemuria deck because I was like, let's get let's get into those Lemurian energies, which are a bit more nature focused, but also have that mystery and cosmic flair. Yeah. Some of us that were born around the same time probably have some of those outer planets in Libra. Check, because those planets spin a longer amount of time. So those of us that are closer to the same age, we may have some of those outer planets there, but also we may have the tendency to be noticing those energies or sensitive to those energies even more. All right. So, oh, beautiful. We got number 44 today from the Lemurian deck, and it says, shine your light. Okay. So shine your light. And I'm loving what I love about this particular card is that the colors are very subtle and more pastel and a little more muted. It's not blasting me with like that false white light. There's not like a really directed light coming out at me. There's more of a radiance of light coming out from around our little mermaid character here, which is very interesting because this is kind of bringing in some of those watery energies, and I'm really seeing how she's connected to it with her hands reaching down, but also something is radiating outside and all around her, and we've got those beautiful colors. So have a look at that. How does that feel for you? I think, in the new age community, it's always like love and light, but it's not always love and light. So how do we shine our lights, but in a more organic and natural way, not through like, oh, I'm supposed to shine my light, or through force. This card of justice is not a forceful card. It's a very measured energy. Lady Justice is not going to wield the sword until and unless she must, right? It's not a forceful energy. So really thinking about, and maybe this is kind of a little prelude into the retrograde energies being in Cancer, since we have the water here, or just a collective reminder of the retrogrades this year. Really taking a look at how you shine your light, because I think there's ways that are projected. Oh, what a bright person. But then there's all these illusions and falsities too around the light and the dark. And I think it was in one of my astrotarology videos over the past month or so, I talked about the difference between the organic light and the synthetic light, and the organic dark and the synthetic dark, right? So navigating through that. You can't have one without the other. We live in this universe of contrasting expressions, and I think most of us can see that. So, in order to be able to radiate, and I don't even know if I'd call it shine, I would just say radiate, because it seems like a more natural energy, radiating your light outward. Insync coach says in the card, it looks like the original colors of the moon I saw when I connected to the original soul of the moon. Oh, that's a beautiful notion. I love that. Yeah. Yeah. So, oh, what a great conversation that is too, around the moon, and how just so many stories and theories and ideas about what it was, or what it's become, what it is, the interesting orbit, the dark side, all of these things to work through there, right? What a great opportunity to bring in some balance and really be measured with how we feel into it. But sounds like you took a little journey and connected with the moon's natural energies. Did it have an atmosphere at one time? Did it not? Is it hollow inside? Is it not? I don't have the answers, but I sure love talking about stuff like that and hearing different ideas about it. Let's go to the Cosmic Energy Oracle cards and also get a message here for maybe a theme from this deck that goes along with the justice energy that we have to keep in mind. We got resilience. Resilience is your source of strength during or in challenges. Oh, I love that. I love the resilience energy. We played that beautiful song, Resilient, in the Fire Horse Rising temple that we did earlier this year, because we are in the year of the Fire Horse. And it's just such a wonderful, encouraging theme, resilience, because it kind of, to me, when I feel into the energy of the word itself, it feels very much like, you know what? It's not telling me things are going to be easy. It's acknowledging the challenges, but it's also letting me know that I have the tools within to be able to survive those challenges, and not only survive but have a sense of resilience where I can weather the storm, kind of like it's going to be okay, we're going to get through this, right? And also knowing when it comes to resilience, it certainly helps to have a community like such as this one, a supportive community where we can come together with like-minded, like-hearted people. That's why I'm building the membership for women, looking for, those spiritually mature women to join us in community, and yes, learn about ourselves, learn about astrology, learn about archetypes, have these personal reflections within, but also to do it in a community space. To know you're not alone kind of helps you build and connect with that energy of resilience. And sometimes it's easy to feel alone. There's a lot of programs going on in the world that make people feel isolated or like they're the only ones that have these ideas. And somehow, though, our souls are very resilient and we end up connecting with our soul tribe. So that's y'all, you all that are here. Okay, we're going to pull a card from the Wild Mystic Oracle because I had to get the animals involved here, the creatures of our world. And let's see what we get. Oh, I love this. We got a little bit of Gemini energy. So we have kind of these reflective energies that have come up and resilience and themes, right? And Gemini is always going to be an energy that reminds us to play. And that is part of the balance that we must have. We must be able to play. And I love how this monkey, lemur, whatever this is, how the tail is winding into, well, first of all, it's kind of sitting on a spiral and it's winding into like a tree of life energy. And how, we came here, yes, to work through challenges and perhaps grow our souls and work through relationships and all of these things. But did we not also come here to have a little fun, to have a little fun in this 3D reality? All right. So this is that playful energy that acknowledges, it's that Gemini energy that sometimes it's just good to kick back and play a game or play in the water or be outside, do something that's playful, right? It doesn't have to be so serious all the time, right? It doesn't have to be so serious. Yes, we're addressing things, we're navigating a very, very complex and interesting reality field that's full of truths blended with inversions and lies. So, in the midst of it, think about the energy of play and how it kind of makes you happy. It makes you smile, and it kind of like helps cut through some of the density, right? When we play. Play to me is it's a lighter energy. It's kind of the little sweet laughter of a child, right? When they see something funny and they giggle, playful energies, having a little fun, not at others' expenses, but to lighten some of the load that we are going through as we navigate. So let me know what you think about play. How do you play? Do you like pickleball? Do you like to go in the water, splash in the water with your kids? What do I was thinking about how like those water parks and you see kids like running through the water, running through all the different fountains and things that go on. That's always delightful. My kids and I like to play different things like Mancala and Chinese checkers and Uno and Connect Four and just kind of have a little fun competition, and also teach them as we go. We've got the Elemental Oracle here, and I wasn't even shuffling one of the cards in, so we're going to get it in there. Rock hunting, yes, and driftwood hunting, yes. Yes, it feels very, you know, like playful, like nature, like a nature sprite. You know, you get to have a little bit of fun in nature. I love that too. I love going hiking. Um, Watching animals play sometimes can be part of it, playing with your dog, you know. Blaze likes to, he's not good at he's good at retrieving, but he'll fetch and retrieve, but he won't return it to you so he can do it again. He wants you to chase him. He loves the chase and he wants to be chased because he's small and he can get away from us all and he's very hard to catch. So he's very stubborn like that when it comes to fetch, but it's funny to watch him, you know, and it's playful and it's fun. We're going to get something from the elements. We always get this one. We always get this one. Y'all, some of you are going to recognize this card. So I pull out the Elemental Oracle, the number 33, of course. Got to have that number 33, right? Ice. Remember this, y'all? So this is coming up with our energies of justice. And I do love this card. I'm getting a little sick of seeing it because I feel like it comes up and it says here purity. And there is that purity element. There's that innocence with justice where it's kind of that return to innocence, it's kind of that return to purity. So I'll accept it here again. I was just like, this one keeps coming up. So it must be a message that we're really meant to work with. It's come up in different ways. So, first of all, she appears to be resting or sleeping under the ice. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I should love this because I'm like sweating right now having having a menopause hot flash, right? Sleeping comfortably in the cool. Does anybody else like it cool when you sleep? Like I would rather it be cold and put a blanket on than it be hot and I can't get comfortable. And you know, we're fortunate if we live in a place where we can get comfortable. I was watching a little mini, well, it was a day in the life video of this young man who lives in Vietnam, and he was kind of doing a little tour and stuff, and you know, he sleeps on a mat with a mosquito net and it's hot. So how fortunate are we to have this coolness, those of us who are able to sleep in the cool. I mean, I usually have a ceiling fan and another fan. I have another fan on me right here right now in the background. But I do like that she looks comfortable. It may at first glance see like, oh, is she trapped under the surface there? But she just appears to be sleeping comfortably, just resting, while the beautiful white horse gallops above. The action, that rest is a needed action. I love that message to help replenish us. So Karen has talked about, yes, we got this a couple weeks ago. Yeah. And she's in her menopause, sleeping in her comfy ice cave, undisturbed by those night sweats. Yes. You could sleep in negative temps with the windows open. That's how I am too. I would really prefer to be cool, dark and cool. Yes. In sync coach, I sleep with the window open. Yeah. Here, when it gets really high humidity, I'll be the first to admit, and especially this year when I've had hot flashes more than any other year, we did, and in the States, we're really bad. We, you know, there's most places around the world don't have air conditioning, but we're kind of wimps like that. And I really pushed through. Okay. I pushed through. There was a day it got up to 88, pretty high. And I was like, okay, we're not turning, we're just like, let's keep the air circulating. But then it got to a point, it gets to the point here where it gets so humid, it's like that stagnant. It's not like a dry heat that you can kind of work through a little bit easier, like in Arizona, New Mexico. It's like swampy, moldy, stagnant energy, you know, and it's like, okay, we have to turn it on, you know, we have to turn on the air. So, at this point, I should love this card, even though it keeps coming up. And I'm like, what? Maybe there's more to learn here. Maybe there's more to learn. I love the difference of the like internal world, maybe external world. What kind of rest we need to really water ourselves, nurture ourselves with resilience so that we can push on in the snowstorm here, that we can keep going, that we can gallop wild and free. I love that the purity energy is connected. I mentioned that little white slipper, white shoe of the justice that's peeking out there. I kind of blended into the latest activation for justice. We got, shine your light, and we got this beautiful kind of radiant white pastel-y light coming out there with the purples. And we have the white again. So we might be working with this white as the presence, white. And I'm thinking about the light prism now. I'm thinking about how you shine a light through, a clear crystal and you get all the colors together. Interesting. Yeah, purity. She's a powerhouse in the day because she gets good, cool sleep. Yes. Night and day. She gets her energy from her cold rest. Yeah. It's absolutely so important to have rest, isn't it? Especially those of us who are going through, changes, big physiological changes, such as entering menopause. And it's not just like menopause happens and it's over. I know there's like people out there that's like, that's only supposed to be a 2-week process and it's a myth. No, you're full of shit. Okay. Unless you've been through it yourself. Sorry, not sorry, but you don't know what you're talking about. Okay. There's a huge shift, and it's not only physical. It really moves a woman from, there's maiden, and then there's mother, and then there's crone, who embodies the wisdom of the maiden and the mother's experiences. And you're telling me that's not significant? It is significant. Yes, women, spiritually mature women too, sensitive women, no matter what age you are, you might need that extra rest so you can really maximize your resilience when you're awake and really, do the work that you're called to do the art that you're called to do, make the moves that you need to make. What an interesting world too, and the rapid changing environment that we're in. And the way that we look at elders in society. And there's definitely so much lost by not paying attention to the wisdom that people who are aging have. It's like everybody's trying to avoid aging instead of seeing the beauty in it, right? And sure, we want healthy skin and we want all that kind of stuff. But wrinkles, I love wrinkles. I don't want people to get rid of their wrinkles. I think it shows something. It's like the weathering of time. And I think it's beautiful. I don't think it's something to make go away. Yes, you want your energy, take your collagen. I take my collagen. It helps with my joints and my mobility. But, I don't get any injections or anything like that. I don't do any of that, and I never will. I'm pretty sure I can say I never will do that. Okay. Like, I don't think that would be my thing unless I had some sort of major injury and I needed reconstructive surgery or something like that. But no judgment to anybody who does. I mean, I have people in my life I love dearly that, get my sister, she gets injections, and, her forehead looks like it doesn't have any wrinkles, but you can see mine. There's one line right here. And I mean, I love it. I've learned to fall in love with my wrinkles, Mirjam says, I did an ancestral clearance with the womb involved. Yeah. See, that's it. That's just it. Women carry that womb energy, and throughout life, there's just so many programs and things that try to usurp that energy from out from under women, and some women have some really painful, horrible experiences, with having that energy robbed of them or tainted in some way, for through force or other bad acts, evil acts. And it's just reclaiming that womb space, or just like even the medical industry, what women go through, I was seeing this the other day. It's like, and we all must choose on our own. I'm not a medical professional, but like I'm remembering like my first pap smear, and that's invasive. That's invasive. And I don't do those anymore. I also live a very monogamous life, so that is not an issue, but felt like I had an issue. Personally, for me, I would have it checked out. But I was like remembering that, and I just remembered the pain. Like just that one, oh, you'll feel a little, and I'm like, no, I'm good on that now. I'm good on that. For me, that's where I'm at with it. The womb is physically and emotionally and psychologically a very powerful, indeed, energy to work with. Spoonie Noms, hello, hello. How are you? My 20s and a third into your 30s were taken to DV, and I have autism. Youth was the only thing drawing people to me, and now I will be forever alone because I won't have the looks. Is that true though? That's certainly what you might be telling yourself, but is that really true? If you can find within you, here at Creators on the Crest, we look within for the truth, not what society has told us. Okay. You are who you are naturally. When I go to events, I'm literally just standing alone against a wall. Yeah. And that can be hard. Where I tend to go to things and practice, it, and sometimes you have to practice a little bit. Sometimes you have to be the one to take the step. I was just at a BDSM convention, same thing happens at every, well, yeah. And it sounds like you have, Spoonie, it sounds like you have some deep work that needs to be healed there. Right, right. Well, we can't be putting ourselves in environments where we uncomfortable. Yeah. Sounds to me like you've got to find that within, protect your energy, set boundaries. What kind of environments are you going to, Are, I'm talking about like I go to the YMCA to a Zumba class, and there's men and women in there, and I don't know any of them. And am I going to stand on the wall or sit? I see people sometimes just on their phone because they're so nervous to try to talk to people. And got to take a step. And it's good to go to places with people, but what kind of people, right? So so Spoonie, let's take a deep breath. And I really wonder if this is the right community for you. I mean, I know where you're coming from, but in this community, we take full accountability for ourselves. And it's not that we're not victims of the world. It's not that we haven't been victimized. We have, and we acknowledge that, but we also take accountability for where we're at with that and looking inside. Okay. To figure out, why am I drawn to these places? Why am I drawing in these people? I'm not telling you to do anything. You have that choice to make for yourself. But I think that will be enough conversation there, okay? Because you're kind of taking me off track, and I don't appreciate that. All right. I understand everybody has their shadows to work on, but this community is about working with ourselves within in a balanced way, the shadows and the light both, making appropriate choices, having appropriate boundaries, and then moving forward in that way. Okay. And we are talking about justice today. I'm not telling anybody you have to be one way or the other with your, personal belief system, because it's not a one size fits all world. But if you're communicating to me something is wrong, and you aren't, and you're stuck, and you're not getting the results you want, then you've got to look within and you've got to make some shifts. Okay. So back to our oracle messages and the justice card here. I do want to say that this also has been coming up a lot. And the themes, I sometimes call them the 3 Gs: grace, generosity, and gratitude. Okay. Through gratitude, having gratitude, joy expands. All right. Now, this is also something that, of course, you have to be in the right space. You have to be rested. You can't force gratitude. But I find when I'm kind of in a space and I'm struggling, maybe I'm having a meltdown or something, and I want to get back to that, place of where I'm feeling empowered and joyful about what I'm doing, and I want to get past the stuckness. If I can first be curious about, wow, let me just be curious. Let me kind of shift my focus here, and let me be curious about where my life is full. And let me take a look at a little something. That the beautiful thing about gratitude and curiosity is you just have to kind of get a little bit. If you can get the little thread, it will unfold. And I love the picture on this card. I love it. I love the pink on the trees there. And I love how like something is emerging. She's looking for that little something that she can focus on, and it's emerging out of her energy, out of her hands, having gratitude, putting yourself in nature. And grace and gratitude and generosity, to me, they're neighbors. They kind of all work together. I often explain them like a lotus flower opening up upon itself over and over. Once you catch that beautiful wave of energy, you can keep expanding on it. And sometimes it just starts with curiosity. It's not an energy you have to force. It's just an energy that is. The 3 Gs to me are very much about being in the energy, not forcing it, not trying to do it. And some people do really well with like a morning gratitude practice or an evening gratitude practice. I find that, to me, that feels a little too structured. Everybody's different though. Some people love that because it really starts them off on the right foot. So absolutely do your gratitude practices however you want. For me, it's more organic. It just kind of comes up when it comes up. And then I lean in, I get curious and I lean in about the energy. Instinct Coach says it looks like seeds, or maybe some of the leaves from the tree, a connection there. Gratitude for her garden, or for, the nature around her. It's beautiful. Yeah, coming from her hand. Yes, it's a beautiful energy. All right, I'm really liking that. I'm kind of feeling the energy shift now. So I do think it's time for us to talk a little bit about Mercury and Cancer, and how Mercury is going to be in Cancer a little bit longer here. We haven't gotten into the signs yet. We're getting there. We're almost there. We're going to start with Gemini and work our way through the zodiac for the all signs readings. All right. But because it's Gemini's birthday, so we're going to start with Gemini. So now's a good time. Thank you for saying that, because now's a good time for you to kind of reference your chart. Make sure that you've made note of your sun, your moon, your rising or ascendant, and your north node, because you will want to listen to and kind of foundationally put together the pieces of those 4 points. Okay. Now, in my women's membership, we're going to go a lot deeper into why those 4 points are important and are the foundational energies. Okay. So, some of you are going to be getting really, really intimate with that part of your chart. That's where we're going to start because it sets such a beautiful foundation. Karen did some painting, lost track, and we did some Libra discussion. Yeah, the Libra was connected here to the sign of, or to the archetype of justice. The Libra energy is connected to that justice card. So we were talking about maybe looking at that. But now we're going to talk about this retrograde, this Mercury in retrograde that's coming up on the 29th of June and extending through the 23rd of July. If you have your chart handy, grab a pencil too, and maybe make a note. This retrograde, when Mercury enters Cancer, it's going to start at 26 degrees. And from the perspective of the Earth, Mercury is going to appear to retrograde from 26 degrees on the 29th of June, back 10 degrees. You know, it's going to move right from our perspective, it moves backwards. 10 degrees all the way to 16 degrees of Cancer by July 23rd. Then it will station and appear to us like it's moving forward again. These transits and the perspective that we have allows us opportunity. When I think of retrograde, okay, I don't automatically think of like delays and double checking everything, although that tends to be something that comes up, right? And so it is about, you know, maybe you're having a look at your calendar, you're being a little more flexible, but retrograde, when I think of a retrograde, I think of the RE at the beginning, and I think of words like, and energies like the energy of reflection, the energy of reassessing, reanalyzing. Okay. So think of the re words, reconnecting, right? Think of the RE words that you would like to work with in the retrograde. And because it's in Cancer, it's going to pull you kind of inside a little bit. Themes of the home and the family are going to come up, right? And how to keep that energy protected, because oftentimes our very own homes where we live are extensions of our internal world. Reorganizing, right? Reorganizing, repurposing. Think about these kind of things and what you might be interested in working with for the retrograde. When the retrograde first starts there, June 29th at 26 degrees of Cancer, it's going to be conjunct Jupiter right next to, conjunction is right next to, before Jupiter heads on into Leo. So it's going to make the Cancer energies feel bigger. It's going to make them feel more clear. It's going to be shining that light. It's going to be shining that light on what your needs are for the retrograde. Okay. What your needs are. And Cancer likes to be safe. Cancer likes its small comforts, right? Where it feels safe. Simplicity could be something that's come up. I know that's come up for me. Like in our house, we have way too much stuff. We are still dealing with some ancestral artifacts that were passed down, both myself and my partner, Jason. It's a lot to work through because there's sentiment and emotional attachment and everything, but we're reassessing. Is that sentiment, is that part of our story anymore? And do these objects represent, right? It's a beautiful time to look at how you want to reorganize your home and reorganize your space, repurpose things. Reinventing yourself. It could be another, like a reinventing, kind of having that, getting a spark, a new spark again. Reignite, a time to go inside so you can reignite yourself. you may feel during this time, and it may already be feeling that way, especially since we're in a buffer week here. It kind of puts us in this pause energy where you may want a little more privacy. Things may be a little more internal for you. Cancer, I know because I'm a Cancer sun, and Saturn can be moody. You might feel some moods kind of coming and going, okay? And anyone who's lived with a Cancer, sun or moon especially, will know that those moods can definitely fluctuate. Sometimes I'm called Moody Mama, so it does happen, and you may feel that shifting. When Mercury, because Mercury is of the mind, it's a very fast moving mental energy, but being retrograde in Cancer, it's going to slow down. So you may find yourself, and all of this depends on what you might have going on in your chart between 16 and 26 degrees of Cancer. Since it's starting at 26, it's kind of going to go back, it's going to revisit those previous 10 degrees before it moves forward again from our perspective here in the cycle. So you may have difficulty expressing yourself the same way that you normally would, especially if you're more comfortable with some of these Gemini energies. It may tend to bring you more from your mind into your feelings. Some of you might like that though, because it gives you the opportunity to really connect in with your heart. It might quiet some of the mental energies, so that can be a bonus. And also, the thing about Cancer is a sign that's connected to the past. So while you're going through all this deep internal reflection, what can happen is past events, memories, energies from the past come back around, especially related to intimacy, closeness, and they're coming back around for the resolution, to resolve. There's that RE again, to resolve previous interactions, relationships, and timelines. And it allows for a reset. So instead of treating retrogrades like times where you can't do anything, or like something's not going on, there's a whole lot going on. It may not be visible to other people. You may feel like you're on vacation a bit from social media. Some of you may take social media breaks. You may kind of feel like you want to step away from certain things so you can reassess them. It doesn't mean you're gone. It doesn't mean you stop taking action. You're just actioning, right, in a different way. Think of this card that we got here, the Purity and Ice card, where she's resting so that she can reignite and progress through her day, right, with some energy. So that is really what's going on. The feminine energies are going to peak. We are going to lean into that in the women's membership, ladies. So if you've not yet joined up, so much is going on. Like, listen, they're building data centers the size of Manhattan. There's a war. The economics are crazy, right? Like all of that. Don't forget, we've got all of that going on with these astrological changes. We've got meteors coming in and sonic booms happening in the United States, right? There's the thunderstorm that we went through in the middle of the night last week, which I talked about a little bit at the Astrotarology live that I did. And that's why I did a live, because I was so exhausted. There was like 2 hours. It sounded like a war zone. The thunder, constant thunder and lightning, like nothing I've ever experienced. And I could feel the unnerving electricity in the air. Okay, we're dealing with all this. So can we utilize this Cancer retrograde to put that, like Mirjam said earlier when we had our little guest that was kind of spamming the comments, can we protect our energy? Listen, we just don't show up with, no boundaries into potentially unsafe environments. That's a recipe for disaster, right? So it's about Cancer's about having a protective shell. And if somebody doesn't understand that, or they don't like your boundaries, too bad. Too bad. It's just so important for us to be comfortable and feel safe within ourselves so we can do the work. And that's how I'm structuring also the membership. And that's why I'm looking for spiritually mature women, right? Because you're going to come in with the experience, you're going to come in with the wisdom, and you're really going to be able to get something out of it because you've already moved through so much. Okay. And this Cancer, Mercury in Cancer retrograde is a beautiful time to connect with the feminine energies, to connect with supportive groups of women, sisterhood, and to really be able to hear your emotional energies. Okay. A little more sensitive to that, to be able to hear them, to be able to discern them. Okay. All right. So I wanted to talk about that before we got into the breakout readings because we're going to do a Mercury in Cancer and Mercury retrograde power card for each sign from the tarot. And I'm just going to use the standard Rider-Waite Smith. We're going to do each sign, starting with Gemini. Happy birthday, happy birthday. Woo. And even when I say Gemini, I start to get okay, we were very serious there. We were very in the emotional depths of Cancer. And now wait, Gemini season is not over. We're going to give Gemini their time in the sun. They're the ones in the party that you can drop them in places, you can drop them in environments and they'll socialize, they'll get around, they'll do the things. Whereas Cancer's like reading the room, like, wait a minute, who's safe to even talk to here, right? So it's about balancing these energies. It's about looking at our own charts. What are our proclivities? What are our tendencies? And how do we balance those energies? So see how we're bringing this all together. And I will say with my archetypal energy, as I've worked through with the major arcana, these major arcana, I just started, I just got going with it. And some of these archetypes have lined up just so beautifully with the transits naturally. I didn't plan it that way. It's not like I was looking ahead, oh, I've got to do this card with this transit energy. They've just lined up that way. And it was because of the trust. And that's also something that you get better at the more spiritually mature you are, the more connected with your soul you are. You get, because you trust yourself, because of the wisdom that you carry, the universe is responding to that. It's beautiful. Okay. And Insync Coach, oh, wait, I've got some people who have dropped their signs in. Okay. So Karen's got the Scorpio sun, the moon on the Leo Virgo cusp, it looks like. Interesting. And so, yes, Jupiter is going to enter into Leo. That might be big for you, probably also near the end of that, Jupiter and Leo. We'll take a closer look at that. Your rising ascendant is Scorpio. North node is on the Capricorn Sagittarius. Yes, you do have some cusp energy. Very interesting. So cusp energy can have the tendency to affect us at different phases in our life. Like we might be connected with one side of that cusp more than the other. So it can kind of, and it kind of depends how your chart looks, but you can kind of lean into one or the other energies, or just different phases of life present a connection to one or the other. And you will probably know that intuitively. I have a Scorpio Sagittarius cusp. Earlier in my life, I had and I still do to some degree, but not as much as I used to, a very wanderless Sagittarius energy. I wanted to go, I wanted to travel, I wanted to see things. I wasn't ready to settle down. And I was trying to see the world. And now in my later years, I'm more in that Scorpio energy. I'm more intrigued by the mystery. I want to go deeper into things. I still love to travel, but it's not as much of I can't do anything else but this right now, like it was when I was younger. Like I just knew I couldn't settle. I was not ready to get married, have children, or do any of the standard things. I needed to get out and about. So you can look at your cusp energy and look at the qualities of each. and identify which one you might be leaning into. Very interesting. Sometimes in some ways having the cusp energy makes it more complex, but I guess you could also look at it as it's more exciting. So, because you get a little taste of those different energies. Insync Coach has Sun in Gemini. Yes, happy birthday. Moon in Pisces, North Node in Sagittarius. I'm very interested. Insync Coach, do you know your birth time? Do you have your rising or do you not know your birth time? Because sometimes the rising ascendant you won't know if you don't know your birth time. The ascendant is like a point on the horizon when you were born, and it changes pretty rapidly throughout the day. We might also, like, if you don't know the exact time, but like your family has told you, oh, you were born in the morning, or you were born in the afternoon sometime, or you were born late at night. Sometimes we can get pretty close. So if you have your birth time, your chart should also show your ascendant, or it's sometimes called rising sign. Oh, thank you. You love how I present the Arcana cards. Yes. They've really spoken to me. I've really evolved my connection with them. Excuse me. I'm getting a lot of. And your self evolved, Tressa says Gemini sun, Cancer moon. Yep. Tyreek, you don't know yours. That's okay. You can look it up for free on astroseek.com, astro-seek, SEEK.com, and you can pull a birth chart for free. If you don't know the time of your birth, it's okay. You can check a little box that says, I don't know the time. And you will still know your sun, your moon, your north node. You will know everything but your rising ascendant. That's the only thing that cannot be pinpointed if you don't have the exact time. Ah, okay. Insync Coach, Virgo ascendant. Yes, yes. Okay. Interesting. Wow, Insync Coach, I am noticing something about your your sun, your moon, your rising. So you've got Gemini air, Pisces water, Virgo earth on your rising, and Sagittarius fire on your north node. You have all 4 elements in your foundation. That's good. I just got the chills. Some people have, like, they're loaded in a certain element, like they have a lot of air, or they have a lot of fire, or so check that too. That's just something that for some reason stood out when I was looking at yours there. You have all 4 elements. I think when we're looking at sun, moon, rising, and north node as foundational energies, if you have all 4 elements, that's pretty cool. That's pretty good. Now, and what's it good for? It's good for establishing a unique relationship with each of the elements. Now, some of us came in to explore more about water, or explore more about fire. So our charts kind of end up that way. But if you have all 4 elements at your disposal in your foundational energies, that could really utilize that to your advantage. And we'll get more into that. That's the kind of thing we're going to be diving deeper to in the women's membership as well, so that you all are able to get a really intimate knowing of your blueprint and how you could potentially work with the different energies. And believe me, there's so much to look at. That's why I like to start with the foundation. So let's get into a power card for the Mercury retrograde for Gemini. Gemini up first. Okay, this one stuck out. Oh, Gemini, you being sneaky. Okay, so the Gemini energy is kind of showing me that maybe they want to kind of, and I'm not surprised, because Gemini may want to be and remain in Gemini energy for the retrograde. You want to kind of like sneak off without maybe having to deal with the retrograde. But this is coming up as your power card because it does present a challenge to you. Like, you're like, let me just try to carry on with these 5 swords in the Gemini energy, I'm not going to plant them down and go into my emotions. I'm not going to I'm going to try to sneak. I'm going to try to just skip around. I'm going to do a workaround during this retrograde. So Gemini, you're being a little cheeky here, and you're trying to kind of say, oh, I want to kind of get away with something here during this retrograde. It's in Cancer. That's my neighbor, but I'm not super interested. Can I just skip over? Can I just go around? Like, can I just sneak off here for a little bit? But Gemini, this could also mean that after your season's over, you had your parties, you had your fun. And it is a fun time, and it's very social and external. It could mean that you could take this card energy here, the 7 of Swords, and you could look at it like, maybe I will take, maybe I'll take some of these thoughts and feelings and new connections and different ideas that I've gathered during Gemini season, and maybe I'll kind of sneak away and be a little more private as I sort through this. Okay. So if you're not trying to avoid it or get a workaround to the retrograde, maybe you are truly going to take some new ideas, some new thoughts, some things that you've gained, and you're just going to quietly remove yourself or Houdini yourself from the party, from the noise, and sneak off somewhere where you can have a little more quiet, okay? Where you can have a little more quiet contemplation during the retrograde. So for some of you, that's a message to say, excuse me, yes. You will feel more empowered if you take a little breather. Might also be for some of you a great time for vacation energies, where you could get away. And it might be one of those where you go on vacation and you take the pictures and the video, but you're not like posting it to, media or anything like that. You have those things for just you, or you kind of wait until you're home until later, right? Maybe you got some B-roll for your business or something like that. But you're kind of taking it, you're going someplace like away from the party. Here's our party tents here. Gemini is going to kind of sneak off. So to some people in your life who may not get you, who may not understand you, Gemini, they think they know you, but you've changed, you've taken on new thoughts, new ideas, maybe even a new, cycle of life. You've had a closure and you're starting something new. You may distance yourself from some of those, or they'll say, oh, I just don't know you anymore. Or you're becoming different. But it's because you need this time, it's because you need this time to yourself, right? But my advice there, Gemini, would be don't try to, escape the retrograde. Rather, take all of the ideas, the inspirations, the thoughts, and everything that you've gathered during your own season, all of like your observations, and then take them into like your own contemplation. Insync coach says, yes, it feels like that to me. I'm now taking a time to be still and reflect. There's that word, reflect, and let things flow more. I feel some changes coming soon. Yes, yes. And if you're in the flow, you're not going to miss the change because the flow is there. You're in the flow, you're in the stream, you're in the current. That's why the membership is called the Creator's Current, because we are meant to be in the flow. You can get off out of the river, you can rest on the beach, okay, for a little bit, and then get back in with the flow, right? We're going to be experiencing that. All right, I want to get an oracle card here. I have not done affirmations for a minute, so let's do those. Affirmations are kind of the thing that, like, I love them when I love them, but sometimes they're just not enough. But sometimes they are really nice for readings like this, where you get your main message, you get your power card, and then you get like a little icing on the cake, a little cherry on top here. So let's see from the Super Attractor Oracle what your affirmation could be for this retrograde. So you've got the 7 of Swords as your power card. And even though it looks a little sneaky and deceptive, it's just representing the energies that you're meant to work with. There's nothing wrong with a Gemini taking a time out. And you don't have to be hard on yourself about that. Yes, and this is almost like what Mirjam said in her comment there. Instinct coach said, you know, reflect and let things flow. This card says, I am patient knowing that whatever is of the highest good is coming to me. There you go, Gemini. I am patient knowing that whatever is of the highest good, those changes coming, is coming to me. You're not going to miss it. It's going to come directly. Look at these two characters interacting, Gemini, the twins. You're not going to miss it because it's coming right to you. It's there. It's the reflection. Absolutely. And look at that beautiful lily flower that they've got. She's pregnant with something, an idea, a vision. Could mean pregnancy for some Geminis out there, depending what phase of life you're in. Could mean children and grandchildren for you as well. That could be it. If any of you are expecting grandchildren, nieces, nephews, you may have a special soul connection with that baby that's on the way, just FYI. Okay. But also it's about the patience and knowing that it's coming to you. It's going to flow right to you. You don't have to force. You are observing, you are there, you're witnessing, you're present, but you don't have to like chase anything. You don't have to try to force anything. And I love that energy for you, Gemini. Okay, Cancer. Cancer is up next, and then Leo is on deck. Okay. Instinct coach. An idea is birthing, but I can't see it fully now. Oh, I've been there. I know what you mean. And that energy, it's like you're connected to it, but it hasn't come into the full vision yet. I get it. Okay, that's exciting. Yay. And the fact that it's there and you could just be patient knowing that it's unfolding for you, that you will know what you need to know when you need to know it. You don't have to try to force it. You don't have to chase it down. You're connected. All right, let's see what the Mercury retrograde. Remember, we're looking ahead. Yes, we're kind of like entering the pre-shadow here soon for this retrograde, but we're getting power cards to help each sign and how they might approach, how they might reflect on this retrograde, how they might interact with it. And we're going for Cancer now. All right, Cancer. Ooh, okay, interesting. Cancer, you actually got, this is interesting. You got the card that is connected to the sign of Leo, the Strength card. And I loved actually going through the archetypal energy for this. This is one that I do have an activation already in the audio library, and I've already done the YouTube video. And in the YouTube video, I really showed the difference between the story of Tyr taming Fenrir and how he sacrifices his hand and Fenrir like bites it off so that he could put Fenrir to sleep until Ragnarok, which a lot of people are saying, well, we're in Ragnarok right now. Fenrir is the wolf of chaos, right? But in the tarot, Cancer, this is a gentle taming. She's very gently taming the lion to close its jaws. Now, this is an interesting relationship between you and this Leo energy because Jupiter is going to be right there conjunct when Mercury begins the retrograde, but then it passes into Leo. I think this is going to be, I do feel it being like a power moment for you, a strong moment for you, especially if you do have any of the Cancer Leo cusp energies, like your birthday is close to that, or one of your primary foundational sun, moon, rising, or north node is there, right there at the cusp. To me, I feel Cancer like you're going to be gaining some strength during this retrograde, or it's a time to focus on building your strength. It's and strength can be physical, yes, like lifting weights, I, for one, have very sore shoulders right now because I did that the other day and we did a new move and it was like a rotating kind of, it really got the shoulders, right? So that's one part of it, the physical, but also strength of character, strength of your resolve, strengthening your connection with your purpose, your vision. And the Leo energy then, so the retrograde for Cancers may, because we've had all this time with Jupiter in Cancer. Jupiter likes being in Cancer, feels good there. We've been expanding the inner world, Cancer. And then when we hit that Jupiter in Leo during the retrograde, there may be some sort of external. I'm almost getting like an external combustion of some kind, not in a bad way, but like expansion and something's blowing up for you, but in a good way, something that you have been cultivating, something you've been curating, something you've been working on, and you're going to feel this strong connection to that. So we've got the physical, the physiological strength may be a focus, but also this expansion into a stronger Cancer than maybe you have felt, not weak, but not, but maybe felt Cancer like you haven't had the energy levels that you've wanted to. And you know, how can you with all the things going on and how sensitive you are? But I think you're going to feel more like you have more endurance, you have more strength as the retrograde happens, which is beautiful because the retrograde's like in our sign. I'll say our because my sun and Saturn are in Cancer. And I've got that. My Saturn is at 21 degrees and the retrograde is going from 26 back to 16 before it goes back the other way. So it's going to go right across my Saturn there. Saturn's kind of that, you know, drill sergeant. Saturn is transiting Saturn in Aries, right now, Saturn and Neptune. There's from what I know, I believe there's some squares happening there. So challenges, but challenges that are going to lead to Cancer, you being stronger. You're going to be stronger for it. You're going to be wiser for it. And you're going to be seen. Those of you who are like looking to expand, looking to attract, it's happening. All right, let's get an oracle card here from the Super Attractors Oracle, an affirmation for Cancer for the retrograde here. AM, hello. Glad you're here. It's good to see you on Monday evening as well. Yes, Mirjam, Saturn in Cancer. Yeah. So, like I said, Saturn's kind of like a drill sergeant, kind of like a personal trainer. Likes to kind of keep you on track, course correct. So just know that like the challenges that come up during the retrograde for you are there to make you stronger, to strengthen you, not to take you down, not to tear you down. Oh my goodness, I'm feeling so much clearing for you, Cancer. My goodness. And since the past, Cancer is connected to the past and the past things coming back around again, I feel like Cancer, you might be doing a little more clearing. It might be kind of challenging, but some of you may be healing some big cycles up, some big situations, relationship resolutions. Cancer, your affirmation is, I do not have to fear my fear. I can use it as a way to get closer to love. I do not, or I don't have to fear my fear. I can use it as a way to get closer to love. And I love the strength that I see in the mountains pictured here in the big, beautiful sun, maybe setting behind the mountains, that powerful sun of connected to the sign of Leo. We got that strength card. An important time for Cancers. It's not that it's going to be free of challenge, but it is, you know, it's understanding that you will be resilient through it. Strength and challenges. Remember, this came up in the oracle reading. It's your source of strength during challenges. And that came up as a lesson from Justice, helping you balance your life, Cancer. Leo is up next, and then Virgo is on deck. Okay. Do I have any Leo energies out there right now? Sun, moon, rising, or north node? Anybody have those Leo? Was it Karen had the Leo Virgo cusp? Was that right? I've gone down in the comments, but so when it comes to you having those primary placements in cusp energies, you get to listen to extra messages and see how they fit in. Okay, Leo, this one's coming out. Ooh, whew. I feel your fire. I definitely feel your fire. I'm not saying I'm not hot flashing. I am. I have a new supplement coming that's supposed to help me with that. I was on one supplement. I noticed I was getting a lot of headaches, so I'm weaning myself off that one. And I'm going to one that, but when I weaned myself off, it was causing headaches, but it was stopping hot flashes. And now I'm having the hot flashes because I'm weaning myself down, and I'm going to pick up a different supplement. So the Leo moon. Okay. Leo, this retrograde in Cancer, and I don't know if it's because you're going to be the anticipation and the excitement for your season is going to be building up during the retrograde, but you got the Three of Cups. Loving this. I think you're loving this, Leo. It's very social. It is water energy, it is emotional energy. So I kind of feel like, Leo, you're going to be during the retrograde and during your time of reflection, you're really going to be working on filling your cup. But it also has to do with your social connections, your friend circles, your soul tribe energies. Okay. This is also very predominant for you, Leo. Like it's like, and it's not even that this retrograde is going to, um, you're going to be necessarily more social during the retrograde, because I do think you're going to have some rejuvenation and reflection where you're working to fill the cup. But I do feel like any social interactions that happen during the retrograde are going to be significant and important and quite like, what's the word? Delightful. It feels delightful for you. Yes. Yes. So Karen, like you would look at it, you're thinking, okay, this Leo energy, this delightful social, my cup feels full when I'm around this sisterhood, these women. Hopefully that's my membership, right? But this is going to be a theme. These are going to be your experiences. And with your moon, with that being your moon, that would indicate revelations coming. So there's that again, the revelations from the shadows. It's about being with others in community and allowing your and learning about yourself, Leo, learning about yourself, having delightful experiences where it's almost like I do feel a sense of relief as well, Leo. Maybe it's because also Jupiter is going to be coming into Cancer and you're like, finally, yay, let's expand. But like Karen, if you have a Leo moon, you might be feeling a sense of relief, like a weight off the shoulders. Something finally shifts. Okay. I love the Three of Cups energy. What's nice about it is it's like a group, but it's not an overwhelming group. It's not like it's a crowd at a noisy concert. This is coming together in your support circles and celebrating together, lifting your cups together. Instinct Coach has noticed she has Mars in Leo. Action, Mars connected to action, Mars connected to, usually connected to Aries, but when you're looking at Leo, you're looking at, this is like, if any of you like to act or, you like drama, Leo is good for drama, acting, putting yourself out there in a bold way. All right. So you can look at it like that. That could be with what you've shared in Sync Coach, that could be the time, the retrograde and Leo moving into Jupiter, when the flow of what you're receiving brings to you what the actions are going to be connected to that, right? So just a few different ways you can look at things, y'all, right? And it's important that you have that reflection. And so I'm so glad some of you have your charts handy and you're taking a look at those things, because we can speak to that. Let's get Leo an affirmation. Okay, an affirmation here for Leo for the retrograde here, Mercury retrograde in Cancer. Okay, this one's popping out. Leo, it says, I trust that my powerful intentions combined with my faith are enough to allow my vision to become my reality. I trust that my powerful intentions, we do have a new moon coming up, so you can begin thinking about those, combined with my faith. So that's just the trust, the faith, the flow for yourself are enough to allow my vision to become my reality, to actually come into reality. That's what, look at the red color, orange color, the Mars, very much a Mars colored energy in Sync Coach for your Mars and Leo there, right? Yeah. And rising up, like I feel like it's rising up into community for you, Leo, into the circles that are really going to empower you. They're really going to help you on your journey. Oh, I like that. Very good. Okay. Thank you, Leo. We're on to Virgo with Libra on deck. So, Virgo, that's your rising in Sync Coach. Anyone else listening have Virgo placements? I know Jason, my Jason is a Virgo. I don't know if he might be on and off listening here. He's a Virgo sun. I have, and this is another angle that you can confuse yourself with if you want to. My sun and Saturn that I have in Cancer are in the 6th house of Virgo. So you can look at the house energies, which is a whole nother angle, which I won't go down to that rabbit hole today. It is something we'll be looking at, though, something you can look at for those other energetics. Okay, Virgo. Okay, Virgo, this retrograde for you, I think this time for you, Virgo, will be a time of contemplation and reflection. I think that those of you with primary Virgo placement, sun, moon, rising, and north node are going to have a very important decision to make about your direction. I really feel like this Two of Swords for you, Virgo, since this is your card for the retrograde, you may find yourself getting a little more reclusive. You may retreat. Okay, Virgo, it kind of feels like you may retreat, kind of like I'm feeling like that Cancer energy where the shell comes, they kind of retreat back from all the activity so that you can make an important decision about your direction that you need to make. All right. And I'm loving the white robes on the character here, that purity that we saw in the slipper of the Justice card there. All right. It's a return for you into, I really feel like it's a return to innocence, maybe a reconnection. I'm getting like a little bit of inner child kind of feeling, like, what were your dreams? What were your visions? What were you wanting to grow up to be, Virgo? You felt blocked. You have felt blocked in some way. And during this retrograde is the time to retreat into the energies and reconnect into what you really wish for yourself, your life. Could be an important decision about relationships, about your path in life. Listen, we're going through a time where, there's not, the job market is totally different than it's ever been before. Okay. and the whole all the ways that our parents might have taught us, oh, work harder and do this, blah blah blah. All these things are like blah 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 going out the window, right? The world is changing. I think Virgo, you being so connected to your mind, again, Mercury also rules both Virgo and Gemini to some degree. You've been really captivated by this. You've really seen this coming, right? And this energy of the Two of Swords is telling you, okay, you've seen all this, but can we put the blindfold on and have you go inside yourself so that you can make a choice, you can make a decision about how to proceed in your life, an important one too. It doesn't feel like you're just making a decision about, it feels like job, relationship, finances, approach to life. It feels bigger. Okay. Karen says, so here's my cusp moon messages. Vacillate between or in the middle of that. Easier, joyful Leo in this retreat. Right? See, this is why cusp energy, some people hear that like, oh, cool, they have a cusp, but it can make things more complex. And, Karen, you will have a choice too about which energy to lean into. So the goal is you're in the flow and you're going to be honest and truthful with yourself about what you're feeling with. There may be moments where you want to retreat. There may be moments where you want to get out, and just to honor whatever you're feeling in the flow. Yes, you're self-evolved. Tressa has a hubby Virgo too, as well. Yes. Yes. And, Virgo already knows this about themselves. You can tend to overthink. That's why I'm kind of glad it's not like you have a high number of swords here. You just have the two. The retrograde would be a time for you to kind of pare things down in your mind, get away from the overthinking, reconnect with like your innocence as a child, what you're what you thought when you were little, like, oh, I would love to do that, or oh, I really loved that, or I want to be this when I grow. It kind of feels like you're reconnecting with that to me during this retrograde and figuring out a big move. All right. Oh, and this is beautiful. An oracle message. It's quite different. And maybe a good sign for how you're going to emerge from this retrograde, Virgo, because you have that Two of Swords. Two of Swords can sometimes make us feel like we're in a state of confusion, but I find when you're in a state of confusion, instead of resisting it, it usually is best to just accept, okay, I'm in a state of confusion. I'm just going to accept that and then let what flows to me, what I need to know, flow to me. But I see you, Virgo, kind of coming out. You got, I'm in awe of the magnificent guidance that's available to me. Wow, look at this card. It's like something is piercing through the darkness. But again, in a very loving, there's that green energy of the heart surrounded by some beautiful pinks and magentas. I'm in awe of the magnificence of the magnificent guidance that's available to me. So, Virgo, might you be simplifying things during this retrograde? Might you be made aware? Might you be getting some sort of message or download, or your attention is being really grasped by guidance? That's beautiful. Could be also when you simplify and quiet the mind a bit, really go into yourself. You can also have, sometimes it can have the effect of you um, connecting more deeply with universal energies, with sacred ancestors, with guides, and these energies live within you. They're deeply connected to you. They're in your soul codes. They're in your blood codes. Again, guides, and because sometimes people say, I want a message from my guides. you know, how I have always read the guide energy is not some being, you know, necessarily outside yourself. I know people have interactions with all kinds of beings and on all kinds of levels, and that's okay. We have to be able to discern that. But your true guides, the ones who are guiding your soul, they're within you, they're in your own codes. You're already connected to them. It's just with all the busyness and hecticness and chaos of our reality field, sometimes it's difficult to hear those voices. So they're not something you don't have to leave yourself. You know, they're with you, but you're in charge. Okay, not we don't outsource to guides. If you're ever dealing with an angel, a guide, whatever, and it feels like your energy is outsourced, like you're having to lean on them, that's not your true guides. Your guides come from deep within you. They're in your codes, your blood codes. That's your sacred ancestors. Okay, someone back in the line of your ancestry knew what the heck was going on, even if it wasn't your immediate ancestors, right? There's someone there you're connected to. It's in your DNA, it's in your blood codes. And then your soul codes, that's your journey through all time and space and the energy and who you've connected with. So it's inside. Truly, I really truly feel like our, true guides, our true ancestors, they live in our heart, soul, essence. They're inside of us. It's just sometimes hard to distinguish the energies because of everything going on. Plus, the true guides that care for our evolution, they are non-interfering. They're not going to try to co-opt your energy and take you in a certain direction. They're allowing you to figure it out, and they're providing support. So, okay. Okay, Virgo, that was like needed, I guess. Thank you for sparking that little conversation. Some of you may really be reestablishing maybe a relationship with your internal world. We're going to go to Libra next with Scorpio on deck. Okay, so Libra for the Mercury retrograde. Okay, you're sticking your card right out. Ooh, Libra. Okay, so Justice card, remember, is connected to the sign of Libra. You have the Seven of Wands. So, like Gemini had the Seven of Swords. So, there's that seven. Seven is that number that tends to have things rolling, like the balls are rolling, things are going. And this has to do, Libra, with your boundaries. Your boundaries. This retrograde for you, you may be re-implementing, resourcing certain, what do I want to say? What are you resourcing, Libra? I think you may be resourcing some of your energy that's kind of going out somewhere, like more of like a loosh effect, where your energy, maybe it has to, I mean, it could be anything. I'm kind of seeing like binging Netflix, being on the social media scroll, something that kind of, maybe it's a toxic person in your life, something that kind of captures and is taking up a lot of your energy. You're going to be resourcing that energy back to yourself during this Mercury retrograde with a lot of reflection, a lot of focus on boundaries. Okay. The thing about boundaries is there's always going to be things coming at us, right? There's always going to be different energies all around us. What's most important is how we wield this wand that we have. And you can see that this character might be a little bit out of balance, trying to find the balance, Libra. So you may feel during the retrograde a little out of balance. That's okay. You are resourcing and redirecting your energy here. Karen Savoy is here. Hi, good Friday afternoon. I'm back. Yes. Yes, the headband says party like a Gemini because it's Gemini season. And you know how I always kind of get deep and serious on the readings and stuff. I thought I'd bring a little fun into it. So I have the party like a Gemini headband and wishing all the Geminis a happy birthday. Weather is humid. Oh my gosh. I talked about that earlier, Karen Savoy. So if you watch the replay, I was like talking about humidity and air conditioning and all the things. And let me know how it is where you are. Or any of you in an area where, in the United States at least, where you heard the sonic booms, there were like some meteors that burnt up in the atmosphere in several locations. Let me know. I find that interesting. I find that interesting. I find these auguries, these kind of like augury is kind of like a I guess could be like a warning from nature or something like that in the universe, like, or just something to get your attention. People call them signs, you know. I think it's interesting to look at. Some of them are explained, some are not, right? But Libra, yeah, you're going to be finding your balance. You're going to be resourcing energy that has been going outside of you back to yourself. This is providing you transformation. The wands are fire energy. So your oxygen, Libra, you're an air sign. Your oxygen is going to be fueling the fire of your boundaries. Fire, you know, it is one of my favorite ways to draw protection around myself. And I often do it with, I have very particular like energy that I connect to with a dragon, like a dragon energy. Okay. Now, for me, dragon energy represents consciousness. So, what I'm doing is I'm taking my own consciousness, Libra, and I'm saying this because it's coming up for you guys, but anybody can do this. And it's kind of like utilizing your own internal fire. You know how when a dragon is going to breathe fire, you see that warm, you see that radiance kind of come up through their throat, right? Like we see it in the movies and stuff. And I always love circles and spheres, right? For protection. And sometimes I do like a fireball of protection around me. And I think, Libra, you're going to be breathing your air energy because you're bringing it back from something that's been kind of sapping your energy, just taking it away. And you're going to resource that. So anything that's been outsourced gets resourced inside of you, and you're going to breathe oxygen into that. Your boundaries have an awful strong possibility of strengthening, Libra, during this Mercury in Cancer retrograde. Your boundaries. I just feel like your boundaries, your protection, um, your tolerance for any kind of mistreatment, injustice, right? You are connected to the justice energies here. You're going to be wielding that sword, but through the wand, through the fire element. So it's a little bit different type of wielding for you. But it feels like I keep getting like it's time for this. Like I'm getting messages. It's like time for this, Libra. It's time for you to resource this energy and to clear your space. It really is. Let's get you an oracle message from the Super Attractor Affirmation Oracle here. Oh, you got, I accept that good things come easily. I am a super attractor. Very good, Libra. You are a super attractor. And once you get your energy resourced, man, you're going to light up. I accept that good things come to me easily, right? It's been difficult, Libra, maybe because you've been outsourcing too much somewhere. Somewhere there's leaky energy. You resource that, you bring it back. You do this inside yourself. You do this energetically. This is what we call personal magic. You know, you do it for yourself, you transform it. Fire is coming in as an element to help you with that. Beautiful. Instinct Coach says, dragons come up for me this week, so I will feel into working with that dragon fire energy. You're welcome. Yes. Yes. And that's another thing we're going to be talking about in the women's membership. Remember, the link is in the description for anyone who might be interested. Definitely at least look at the link, look at the video that I have. You can always email me if you have questions. We will be going into some of the best ways to shield and protect our energy, working with the elements and such. I'm going to be going, oh yes, we're going to be doing so much. But I'll be doing the heavy lifting. I present it to you and then you choose how to work with it. So Yes, yes, yes. I'm so excited for that. Okay, we're on to Scorpio. We're on to Scorpio. So, Karen Keener, this is your Scorpio sun. Karen Savoy, if you'd like to drop your sun, your moon, your rising, your north node signs in the chat, please feel free to share that if you know that or whatever sign you're focused on. After Scorpio, we'll be going into Sagittarius. So, Sagittarius is on deck. Let's get Scorpio. Let's get Scorpio here. Okay, Scorpio. So we've got a Mercury retrograde in Cancer coming up, and this will be your power card for that. I do want to let you know that from October 24th through November 13th of this year, the Mercury retrograde is in your sign. Okay. And each of the retrogrades this year have been in a water sign. They all look a little bit different. So we'll talk more about that retrograde in advance of that one coming in. But let's see here, Scorpio, your power card. Oh gosh, you've got options here, Scorpio. You've got choices with the Seven of Cups. This retrograde for you, it kind of reminds me a little bit of the Virgo energies where Virgo had kind of like a big decision, a big choice to make that had to do with a big area of their life. Scorpio, for this retrograde, what I see is that this is opening up new choices for you. You're going to have multiple ways to handle things, to deal with things. You're very intense, Scorpio. You're very, you're not one to shy away from mystery and complexity. So I think this could, while it might be an energy that would overwhelm some for Scorpio energy, this does not feel overwhelming. This feels more intriguing. This feels like, oh, okay. If I pick this cup, let's see, and I'm kind of thinking of like, how there's that cup game where you hide the nut underneath and then you shuffle them all up. I kind of feel like this is like it's feeling good. Again, we have another number 7. So things are going to be in motion. You may have a lot of choices before you, or you may be feeling, Scorpio, like, and maybe this is some of this justice energy coming in again, but I'm almost getting like your perspective and your understanding of your emotional atmosphere is going to be full of different choices, different emotions. Um, Water signs are known for being able to navigate the deeper waters, the emotions, maybe more easily than some of the other right elements, because it's our element, water. But Scorpio, especially, you may begin now at this Cancerian retrograde, Mercury retrograde, investigating and exploring all the options and the things that you can uncover for yourself. So I feel like a deeper dive into mystery here, into choice, into your emotional atmosphere. Yeah. And I think this is going to be with the retrograde being in Cancer, Scorpio. I think it's going to be an internal thing that you're doing. This may even be like where it's just you very personally like go through um each of the emotions that you're feeling in your atmosphere, and it feels like there's multiple choices and it kind of feels like things are changing and it's complex, but at the same time this intrigues you. You're drawn into it. And Mercury retrograde in Cancer, since Cancer does like to draw in behind that shell, and really do to keep all the soft and squishy, goodness to themselves. I think this is a great time for you, Scorpio. Mm. I'm also getting the word rebound for some of you, Scorpios. Take that as it will. Maybe you're rebounding from an injury, Maybe you're rebounding from a relationship. See how it can look a lot of different ways, right? I'm feeling into it. I'm like, well, rebound that could be a lot of different things, you know? Some of you may, during the Mercury retrograde in Cancer, since it's connected to past, you may become aware of rebounded curses or hexes from your ancestry. I'm just throwing a few ideas out there, Scorpio, like what would the rebound energy mean to you? I'm also getting like, I don't know, for some of you, like resistance bands that you use for physical workout would like resistance training would be really good for you. Really, really good for you to establish like resistance training. It's kind of like, I'm kind of seeing you like maybe you lift the bar up, right? And you're getting that shoulder workout, but then it's like you control it when you push down, right? This is I mean, it's great for your muscles. It's great for toning. But those are the re's I'm getting for you, Scorpio. And I think you're really going to enjoy this time. It's kind of like I feel like a zest of life for you during this retrograde that you get to kind of enjoy internally. I don't know if it will be shared with the world, but that's okay. You like to keep things a little closer to the vest sometimes. Yes, Karen Savoy, drop your sign. Sun, moon, rising, and north node is what I look at when I go into these readings. Let's get an oracle message to ice the cake for Scorpio here from the Super Attractor Oracle. Ooh, interesting. My ability to receive is measured by how much I practice good feeling thoughts. Maybe that has to do with what you're exploring here. Exploring many different things, exploring the complexities, and maybe landing or choosing the cup that feels the best to you. Look at all the dragonflies in this too, the subconscious. And Scorpio, you're the master of the subconscious. You really truly are. Woo. I'm the second person today to mention resistance training. There you go. How many do you need? Have you seen the memes where it's like, universe, show me a sign, and then like something happens, and there's like, I'm not sure, universe, show me another sign, and then they get another one, then like, well, I'm still not sure. Show me another sign. I was gonna say, do you need three? Because sometimes things come in three, but yeah, that resistance training. Never a bad thing. I have a set of resistance bands I love in my exercise classes when we use those. I will say, let me mention another thing because I just did this week. The crab walk is where you walk side to side, one foot and then the other, and then you can go this way. Well, if you have resistance bands under both feet, you have to work harder. So you put the resistance bands under both your feet and you hold up the handles up here, and then you crab walk, and it works your adductors in your abductors, right? Because you're stepping and then stepping in and stepping out and then stepping in. And of course, you could do the little booty kickbacks too if you want to. Karen Savoy, Aries. Okay, well, we haven't got to Aries yet. We'll come back around to Aries. So we've got Sagittarius up next, and then Capricorn. We're going in order of the zodiac here. So, and what we're pulling is messages for power cards for the retrograde, the upcoming Mercury retrograde in Cancer that begins on June 29th. Whoa, Sagittarius. Sagittarius threw their card out, came flying out. And wow, Sagittarius, you got the star. It's not your major arcana card. It's actually Aquarius energy that you're showing me here, Saggy. But I love this energy for you for the retrograde. I think for you, Sagittarius, you and Aquarius do share the kind of freedom focus. Like Sagittarius wants to be free to aim for their goals. They want to be free to shoot for the stars. This is kind of that universe blow my mind kind of energy that's coming up. And during the retrograde, since the retrograde in Cancer does offer a retreat, I kind of feel like you're going to be pulling back, but it's going to be so you can refocus your target. There'll be a lot of refocusing for you. And you're rearranging your life to embody more freedom. All right. Um, Interestingly, Sagittarius, you're very active from the perspective of your element, fire. But the two elements that I think you're going to be working with during the retrograde are water and earth, as the character in this card has 1 foot in the water, 1 foot on earth. All right. So you're really going to be working with the Cancerian energies. I think your retreat during the retrograde, it may feel abnormal to you, to your personality, perhaps, but there's a deeper soul connection happening here. For anyone out there who has Sagittarius and Cancer, I do have a Sagittarius North Node cusp and a Cancer Sun. So it doesn't matter what placements it's in, but you might want to look at how Cancer and Sagittarius work together. The star is ruled by Aquarius. There's something happening here, Sagittarius. Hang on. It's like you're having an elemental experience. And I do feel the energies of Capricorn here. So some of you may have that Sagittarius Capricorn cusp energy, and that may be your earth energy to work with. So you've got Sagittarius, maybe just if you've got Sagittarius placements, jot down, you've got you as the fire, Cancer as the water. This is interesting. I've never had this happen before. Capricorn as the earth, which Cancer and Capricorn are opposites, and then Aquarius as the air. Your opposite, though, Saggy, is Gemini, which is Gemini season that this is all coming through. Ooh. It feels to me, Sagittarius, like your life is feeling like maybe it's been kind of a puzzle. And during the retrograde, you're going to be going in, you're going to be taking time to balance your energies elementally. Okay. I think it's important you work with all 4 elements during the retrograde. And I think you're going to be figuring out something of why, like there's this part of you that is like you're so forward focused, but there's these mental energies that are saying like, why did that happen? Why did my path cross with that person? Why did that relationship blow up? Why did that end? Like there's these questions, and maybe they're in your subconscious, and there's a part of you that's like, gosh, I got to move forward. This retrograde, Sagittarius, is going to give you a really good opportunity to resolve some of these past things. And I think, you know how at some point in your life, like let's say, like me, maybe you went through a toxic relationship earlier in your life, okay? And for the longest time, you're just like, damn, why did that happen? Damn, nobody goes in thinking, oh, I want a toxic relationship, consciously. But, and you kind of like rack your mind, you're like, you rack your brain, like, what, why? And I feel like that for you, Sagittarius, and this retrograde is going to offer you a gift. In Cancer, it's going to offer you the gift of resolving, and you're going to uncover the why. It's going to make sense. I think you're going to come out of this retrograde with a stronger resolve, and you're really going to have a renewed aim on your goals. Okay. It's feeling pretty powerful for you. So I don't know if it's that recent blue moon that just like activated this, because it was in Sagittarius. But it really feels powerful to me for you. And the more you work with the elements, all the elements, especially the ones from the perspective of the signs I mentioned, I think it's going to be good for you. And the oracle message agrees. It's good to feel good. See, the reason, Sagittarius, that some of you may not be feeling so great is because you've got these subconscious like blocks, like just kind of obstacles of like, why did that happen like that? Or why did I go through that? Remember, Cancer's bringing up the past, and because you're going to be figuring it out during the retrograde, it's going to release energy and you're going to be feeling better. Like I said, you're going to re-aim your arrow, and it's going to feel good to feel good. Okay. And look at all the beautiful green. That's life. That's heart energy, Saggy. So you're going to be feeling really good in that. I like your reading. I kind of want to be a Saggy. Hi, Purvich. Hello. Aries. Okay. Karen Savoy says Aries for you and your twin sister. Okay. 2 Aries. Wow. Sure, I want you to come back later if you want to. Yeah, it'll be because we're going to do Cappy. But remember, if you know your moon sign, your rising, and your north node, you can listen to those messages too, because that's how I read. I read for the sun, the moon, the rising, and the north node today. And then whatever placements you have, you listen to the different readings and you can kind of sort where they go in your life. And these are meant to be power cards for the upcoming retrograde. So we're kind of preparing. This is the way we get a heads up, not necessarily being able to tell exactly what's going to be happening in the world, because let me tell you, even the best psychics and astrologers this year are all like, we don't know what's going to happen. There are so many conversing, overlapping energies that it's going to be hard to see. So if you do know your moon, rising, and north node, you can go to astro-seek, seek.com to pull your birth chart. Okay, so that's important. Karen Keener said, I had to pause while the AC repair was here. So I'm looking at Sagittarius star, which I identify with star card, and my north node is Capricorn on the cusp of Sagittarius. And that Capricorn energy came up as the earth energy there. Yes. So leaning into whatever that is for you. Great. See, you all get it. You're starting to make these connections. Astrology is fascinating, right? And there's really no one right way. There's so many different modes, methods, and approaches that it really is about us, though. It's like as within, so without. So conclusions and the threads that we follow are all important. This is how it can help you. So you kind of take the base, you take the themes. Okay, we know Cancer is about this. We know Leo is about this, and you kind of have the themes, but then you begin to approach it more multidimensionally. Oh, Karen Savoy, I don't know what time I'm going to be doing the Aries reading. I know we're doing Capricorn next. Aries is going to be at almost the end. So, and today I am losing track of time, so I really don't know what the flow is going to be. Capricorn, and then on deck after Capricorn is Aquarius. So we're on to Capricorn here for your power card, Capricorn, for the Mercury retrograde. For Karen Keener, it says the star to me also represents rock hunting on the shores. Oh, yes. Yes. Love it. And who knows when a piece of driftwood would be floating, floating down the bank, right? Oh, I love that you get into nature with that intricacy. That's cool. Very cool. Okay, Capricorn, this one's coming out. Oh, what will the Cancer retrograde power energy be like for Capricorn? Capricorn, partnership, the Two of Cups. Now, Cancer is your opposite Capricorn. Capricorn, if Cancer is the internal energy of emotions and, uh, softness and sensitivity and integration, Capricorn is the external experience of that, right? And Capricorn, this retrograde, I think a big focus for you is going to be relational energies and relationships. Um, and there we have the again, relate, how you relate to people, how you relate to partnership, intimacy. Are you going to realign Capricorn with your heart energy? Are you relating to others through the heart, or is there too much mental activity? Or Capricorn, are you relating through work? Capricorn, such an earth magician, your ability, like some of the other signs, we look at your energy, Capricorn, and we say, my goodness, like they are grinding. They are working so hard. Like Capricorns have the ability to just grind through what others can't even imagine having the energy or strength for. Now, that can serve them quite well because they can really get things done. They can move mountains, right? Capricorn, you know what I'm talking about. You can move mountains, you can get the job done. If you want a job done, you ask a Capricorn to help be a part of the process. Okay. You're going to see the visible effects of that. But let's not forget the opposite Cancer energy here. It kind of feels like to me, Capricorn, like you're looking through a looking glass. Let's say, like Alice in Wonderland, look through the looking glass. And it's almost like you're going to hone in on something relational during this retrograde, how you relate to others, what it means to you to have a true heart to heart connection when you're not distracted with working too hard, right? All right. So, other people, it's like, kind of feels to me like the universe, the cosmos is offering you the looking glass so that you can focus on this relational energy. Whereas otherwise, you would remain distracted with all the work and everything you have to do. This Cancerian retrograde gives you the looking glass. And while you're going to be looking at maybe others through the looking glass, somehow this is bringing you back to yourself, Capricorn, bringing you back to yourself, what you believe in as far as partnership, what a healthy relationship looks like for you, what's acceptable for you, what relationships and connections you have feel like medicine, and what others feel not so much like medicine, what needs to change. Yeah. And it could be absolutely Capricorn. It could be like Karen Keener is saying, like others are the mirror. You look through the looking glass, but somehow the universe is helping you focus. Kind of brings it like everything, like moving the mountains to like taking a small mountain passage and you're just looking at the passage. So we're still in your north node. Oh my goodness. Yeah. And your north node is what you're moving more and more into throughout your life as you age. Okay, so you're familiarizing. Some people have even speculated that your north node may be the sign that if you believe in reincarnation and you come back for another round, it may be the sign or signs that you may take as your sun sign, right? Like it's part of a cycle, perhaps. I find that interesting. I don't have any proof for that, but I find it interesting to speculate on that. I think speculation is healthy. I like speculating. I like diving into mysteries and sorting through them. even if I don't ever get the answer, I still love it. But Capricorn, yeah, it really is about your relationship. So let's get you an affirmation here for the Mercury retrograde in Cancer for Capricorns here. Yeah, it's almost kind of like you're looking through the looking glass into the other end of things, deeper into those internal relational energies. It says here, I let the universe catch up with my dreams, Capricorn. I let the universe catch up with my dreams. Ooh, this feels pretty like cyclic to me, like timelines. I let the universe catch up with my dreams. And maybe it's your dreams related to partnership, the evolution of an existing partnership that you have, the growth of a partnership that you have, or one that you're wanting to bring in, one that you've dreamt about. Now, Capricorn, as hard as they work, because they're Earth, they do tend to be okay with patience, you know? And that's good. That's good. Karen says, like, I sometimes think my situation is the fault of someone else's karma in my household. And this is telling me to own it and see how I can manifest past whatever this block of not owning my destiny might be. Yeah. Or not owning my destiny. Yeah. I get that as well. Because when we are in relationship, and that might be what this Capricorn reading is kind of showing, especially the others that might be in our household who are closest to us, and we're in a retrograde with Cancer, and Cancer's like, it's all about the inside. Yeah, that could be like bringing you back to yourself here in that way, rather than it's kind of distinguishing between, yes, the people you're closest to, you're sensitive to them, and their moods and their karma and their, you know, destiny path can be present and can have an influence on you. But how do you quiet all that extra noise to really look at yourself, right? Which is spiritual maturity. You guys got to see this. I got to show you this. Blaze is mansplaining over here. Like, I guess that's what you call it. Look at him. See, this is what I mean. While everybody else is working, little man is living his best life over there. Nice and cool. Cooling his nuts off, aren't you? I had to show you guys. He's so funny. Sometimes man spreading. Is that what you got? All these terms, me in terms sometimes. He's over there living his best. That's what I call living your best life. Just laying on your back. Yeah, I got you. Now everybody knows what you were up to. Chillaxing over there. Now he's looking at me like, anytime I say his name, he's like, oh, she said my name. He's a smarty. Okay, shall we move on to Aquarius? And then Pisces is on deck. We're getting closer to Aries. Aries will be after Pisces. Yeah, because we got Pisces, Aries, and then Taurus, right? Taurus last but not least. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yes, let's double check. Double check. Cool your balls. Yeah. All right. Aquarius. Let's see what's up with Aquarius. What's a power card for Aquarius for Mercury in retrograde in Cancer? Okay, Aquarius. Oh, gosh. We're getting a lot of cups energy today. And I think it's because the retrograde itself is in a water sign. 9 of Cups, Aquarius. Oh, my goodness. I'm getting a few words here. I think everything is kind of coming in together. First of all, I'm just going to say it's happening very fast. Okay. Aquarius, I'm getting regulate. I'm not sure why yet. And I believe there's a star called Regulus. There might be some sort of connection there because I got regulate, Regulus. And with the 9 of Cups, I'm also getting represent, represent. I think this retrograde for Aquarius, you're going to be repackaging something, be representing or representing yourself differently. Maybe a more, what I would say, kind of feels to me like you're filling up your edges. A more full version of yourself, Aquarius, is coming online here with this Nine of Cups. Look how the cups are beautifully displayed behind the character, and he's kind of like, look what I did, arms are crossed, kind of leaning forward. Like there's almost a little bit Aquarius of a little bit of, you want to challenge me kind of energy. Like, are you going to mess with me? Because I got it together here. And I feel like this is something that this retrograde is going to be offering you, is this, you're going to be representing yourself. It feels like a power move for you. It feels like a bold move in a lot of ways. And the retrograde is going to offer you the opportunity to represent this. Now, your energy feels, Aquarius, a little different than everybody else's in the sense that I think you're going to be more actively seen during the retrograde than maybe some of the others. Your energy feels more on display, it feels more out there. So if you've got Aquarius energy and you've been wanting to get out there, maybe you're getting comfortable being on video, or there's something you're going to present to someone, or something like a project at work that you're going to be showing up for, taking the lead on. It may happen during the retrograde. There could be even something where the timing is just, that's when it's happening, and you're out there. But I also feel like tied up in that is and maybe this is where the regulation comes in of and now I'm getting like, regulators mount up, it's, you're on a mission, Aquarius. You're on a mission that's really connected to your vision. Your visionary instincts are online. You're showing up like, you're just like, I dare someone to mess with me. It feels very powerful. um and maybe there is a little bit of regulation in, like, understanding, like emotional regulation, like, I dare you to come at me, but like everybody's like, we're good, we like what you're done, kind of like, almost like you prepare for a challenge and all the questions and everything, but then you do your presentation, you put it out there, and everybody's like, oh, that's awesome. Like, it kind of feels like regulate from that perspective, maybe regulate through some of how you might have responded in the past out of like defense. So it might be defense regulation. Some of you may have jobs or may have dreams about defense entities. Very interesting. Aquarius, I'm feeling like remote viewing kind of skills. I'm feeling like astral travel kind of things for you. However, the regulation comes in when you are putting yourself out there, in the sense of like, maybe you're anticipating a fight, but there's not going to be one. And could that be connected to some wounding from your past that has you closing off a little bit, protecting that part of yourself, Aquarius? Maybe. Interesting. I mean, it looks great for you on one hand, but could there be some anticipating or some planning for a fight, a difficulty of some kind that isn't really going to happen? That's very interesting. Um, why am I shuffling the wrong deck here? It almost feels to me like, Aquarius, like you may want to, during the retrograde, challenge yourself, even if you're out there doing things. Do you need to challenge yourself to not bring in preconceived notions that might be based on prior traumas? Because Cancer is going to have you looking back a little. So can you have a look at that maybe? Right, because your super attractor affirmation is my super attractor power comes from how I feel, my faith in love, my trust in love, and the joy that I put out. Right. And I do feel the joy and the pride and the presentation here. But might there be that little smidgen of anxiety from the past? So I don't think you have a lot to worry about as far as being in your power. I think, Aquarius, what you have to take a look at is taking a little reassessment on how you feel and what you're like when you go to put yourself out there. What are you gearing up for? Are you gearing up for a fight? Or can you really trust your innate energies of protection? Hmm. That's a question for you to reflect on, maybe. Do you trust yourself to maintain the energy of protection, the energy of integrity, the energy of the things that you might feel are against you because you did experience some sort of trauma in the past? That's what it feels like. For you, it's not all over the place. It's a very specific thing. I'll just say that. Okay. Let's move on to Pisces. Pisces and then Aries is on deck for Karen Savoy. If she's still on, Aries is on deck. Up next after Pisces. Pisces. Woo. Okay. Now, interesting. Pisces gets the card of Sagittarius, the temperance energies. Pisces, you got to have a retrograde, the first retrograde of the year. The first Mercury retrograde was in February 26th through March 20th. So February and March. And there was a lot of resolution happening then. There was a Venus conjunction. This time we have a Jupiter conjunction. And this is Sagittarius energy, which is Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter. Okay. So to me, this Cancer retrograde for the Pisces crew, and again, there's the 1 foot in the water, 1 foot on the earth, the balance of the elements, like the star card, except it's feet. I think the star card, she was kneeling down. Okay. Um, the retrograde for you, Pisces, I think you're going to be, I know you're really comfortable in the water. All right. You've got 1 foot in the water here, but the universe is going to kind of pull you into maybe being on land a little bit more. I think the Cancer retrograde for you, Pisces, is really going to inspire. I think you're going to reground yourself. I think you're regrounding. I think you're realigning. I think you're reestablishing your position. You're reestablishing your authority in something, Pisces. Pisces, you're such a shaman in the sense that there's always like with Pisces, and I think Instinct Coach, you have a Pisces moon. There's the Pisces energy strike me as being just so incredibly loving and caring. Um, and they have like that subtle concern for things, right? And sometimes being in that energy constantly can make you feel a little like I feel like you feel a little like swept over or swept away. I'm kind of seeing like this broom, like this energetic broom, and it maybe has you feeling a little bit scattered. And so you're bringing, you're going to be kind of moving from this, like, see how temperance is leaning her weight on this foot in the water. I think the retrograde is going to have you tilting the cups the other way so that you can put your weight on this foot on land. Pisces, it really feels to me like balancing exercises where you balance and hold, like when you're stretching your quadricep, you pull your knee behind, use a wall, be safe, do not fall down or anything, but balancing kind of coordination would be really good for you. Earthing, being barefoot on the ground. Okay. You're going to shift your weight here during this Cancer retrograde. you're shifting your weight because you feel a little spread thin. Like he says in the Lord of the Rings, like I feel thin like butter spread over too much bread. Is that like Hobbit or Lord of the Rings? He says that. Bilbo Baggins. Yeah, like you feel a little stretched, you feel a little sweat thin here. Yeah. Your strength that you are realigning with during the retrograde is coming into balance and leaning more into the earth and regrounding yourself. That's part of what temperance means. You know, we're not going to heavily roll one way or another. We're going to temper the energies here because look, we've got a beautiful outlook. Pisces is also very good at that. They bring the spiritual into, they bring the divine into the real world. And that's a beautiful thing, but it's also a long and arduous path through the mountains. Excuse me. Yeah. And you have Jupiter in Pisces, and Jupiter rules Sagittarius, which is this card. So there's your connection there. So your expansion, Pisces, is, and your expansion coming out of this retrograde is going to be from your ability to get regrounded and realigned and connected with the earth energies. And to me, because Cancer is so internal, this feels very personal to you. All right. And what I'm getting is that you're kind of going into the retrograde, Pisces, with this. There's been a lot of focus on everyone else. And you just naturally do, because you have that loving, like there's concern, there's care, and that's always running. Like you're the one who's like, let's conserve water. Don't leave the water running when you're brushing your teeth until you need to rinse off your toothbrush. Like you care about the subtle and little things. And there's been a lot of focus on that in the external world. This temperance feels, this leaning into earth feels more internal, something for you. It feels like a gift that you give yourself. Maybe it's an investment in yourself. Maybe it's what you're going to be gaining off the bat from the membership that we're going to start up soon, right? Doors are open. Check that link down below, ladies. But, it just, yeah, it feels, if I'm imagining it like a fish, like a Pisces fish, it really feels like you've been swimming in the stream and there's a lot of other fish around you. And maybe some of them are like those little ones that like eat the, like the scales, the dirt off the grime off your body. You know how little fish attach to the bigger fish to kind of clean them off, and they're like eating off the algae and all this stuff. Kind of feels like you're spread thin because others have been feeding off your energy, and during the retrograde you get the chance to retreat back to yourself and reground and realign. Feels nice because there's still a long journey ahead, and it's worth it. Like you're invested, you're like, it's worth it, I'm doing it. It's just I need me back. Like I need to not feel stretched so thin. And your super attractor affirmation is, when I'm in a state of appreciation, I'm in vibrational alignment with my true love nature. And we have little cardinal birds, and that's sweet. When I'm in a state of appreciation, I'm in vibrational alignment with my true love nature. Yeah. And I think that's, you're reconnecting with that. You're regrounding into that energy. Again, you've been very focused and lots of things going on with everyone else, children, partner, family, friends, etc. Pisces, you're getting the chance now to really return to your true nature. your true inner nature there. Wow. Okay. That feels sweet to me. It feels good. It feels, I don't know. I kind of like, I know there's cardinals in the picture there, a male and female cardinal, but I'm also seeing a hummingbird for you, Pisces. So I'm seeing maybe that's some of the Gemini energy coming in and gifting you with some of that. So watch for hummingbirds as well. Aries is up next, and Aries is ready to go because I literally already pulled the card. They're like, okay, Pisces is done. Now it's time for me. Good night, In Sync Coach. Thank you so much. And a very happy birthday coming up for you on the 12th. Yay, happy birthday, Gemini. All right. So Aries is ready. Aries is ready for attention. It's kind of like butting in on Pisces reading, like, yeah, I'm here now. Aries, your power card for the Mercury retrograde in Cancer is the King of Swords. You're kind of used to the King of Wands being a fire card, but boy, you are, to me, this feels like realigning your thoughts, re-establishing your words. You're going to reinvent how you communicate, Aries. And the king is no slouch in this sword, the King of Swords. We see the sword here in the Justice card here as well, right? Which we talked about in the oracle messages. You're getting to the point with something, Aries, during this Cancer retrograde. It's almost like your energy feels to me like you're the least phased by this retrograde, because your thoughts are very pointed, very specific. You're very focused on words. For you, there's like a reassociation with how you communicate, with how you think, but you're not as affected. I don't feel you as affected by the retrograde energies as some. Now, this will depend on your specific chart. Maybe it's because we have that transiting Saturn and Neptune there. So you're kind of like, well, I kind of, I refuse. I refuse to be, slowed down or affected by these retrograde energies. I don't think there's much retreating for you. I think it's going to be kind of like business as usual, but with maybe a stronger resolve to communicate through. Maybe it's about communication for you during the retrograde. Aries, I think sometimes in your energy, because you are so, you're kind of like you just go. You kind of like just bulldoze through everyone and everything sometimes, right? And you're kind of putting that forward again. It's almost like your energy is like already moved on from it. It's like you've already gone through the retrograde, but that's your first house energy. You lead in that way. So Aries, you Aries that are doing like work for others, like spiritual work, soul level work, or you're leading others because King is in a leadership role. Then it's important for you to find the right words during this retrograde. You may have to reestablish how you communicate because, sometimes you can bother a whole lot of the other signs with just powering through, getting ahead of yourself or saying something that like somebody didn't need to hear you. They needed other words. They needed other words of encouragement. So you may have this bit of reassessment, but as far as you're really concerned holistically, you're like, that's not going to slow me down. Like I'm not affected. I'm moving right through it. And you probably are. You're going to move through it, but I do caution you to really consider how you're using your words to others. Because you could end up during the retrograde, especially when people are internal and being sensitive, even if you're not, and you say something sharp with a sharp tongue, or something that's not very mindful, you could really hurt someone's feelings. Cancer is, we're feeling it, right? So Aries, you got to be careful of that during this retrograde. Maybe some of you need to go through that lesson during that time. Okay. Maybe that's what Saturn is hanging out in your sign for. You're kind of getting to the point with me here, though. You're not beating around the bush. You rarely do. Your oracle messages, true manifesting is about receiving, get this, Aries, not what is the highest good for you, but the highest good for all, especially you Aries in leadership roles and in roles where you're in service to people when you're in those modes. True manifesting is about receiving what is of the highest good for all. And I'm seeing, like, I know there's like some saguaro cactus things pictured here, right? But I'm thinking of like things that are connected under the soil, like, aspen trees. They grow in patches, they're connected at the roots, right? If one goes down, they all go down. You're welcome, Karen Savoy. So Aries, this retrograde will have you thinking about everyone, and you'll have to choose your words carefully. You may not be able to communicate in the direct kind of like, let's get to the point kind of way, because you might have to consider someone else's feelings. All right. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's a learning for you, right? That can enhance your boldness, right? It can enhance it because it helps the others that are deep in these internal processes see you as more human, more real, not just someone there to bulldoze through and be on their way, right? So yeah, yeah. All right, we're moving on now to, last but not least, Taurus. Taurus is a very patient sign. You've all been waiting. If you have any Taurus energy, been waiting very patiently, unless you're watching the replay and just jumped right to the timestamps, which I will put timestamps up on this one as soon as it processes so that everybody can see that. Taurus, here's another 7. Gosh, I feel like we got all the minor arcana 7 cards in the power messages for the retrograde. And for you, Taurus, this upcoming retrograde, nurturing yourself. I'm getting the word replant. You may replant yourself. You may be, Taurus, in because 7s are about momentum and change and motion. You may be reestablishing, replanting yourself. Some of you may be making moves during the retrograde, or maybe planning and nurturing a move, a change in ecosystem during the retrograde. You're not one to just get up and go. You like to be comfortable, Taurus, but you're really thinking about something here. Look at how focused this character is on this pentacle bush here, right? And how it's growing and where it's growing. Is there going to be a replanting that you're going to do? I feel your earth energy very deeply coming to the surface for the Cancer retrograde, to where you're probably going to be feeling this a lot more deeply. Like, I need to reestablish myself. I need to be able to bloom where I am planted. And there's like a question here of like, am I in the right place? Am I in the right ecosystem? Taurus will move when Taurus is ready, but not before. The pentacles here, while the 7 represents motion and change, and like the pentacles say, but wait, let's weigh out all the pros and cons. I think this retrograde in Cancer, you're going to be reflecting and really taking a deep, long look at how you could reestablish yourself. Maybe you'd like to reestablish yourself in your local community. Maybe this has to do with what kind of groups you want to get involved with, reestablishing yourself around others. Maybe for some of you, and I'm getting kind of nutrients, like nutrients are an issue for you, Taurus. Having the right minerals and vitamins in your diet, having the right foods that nourish you. You're really taking you're doing a deep review on this. I think for some of you Taurans, like you're kind of like, well, we're at the point something needs to change here. Something's got to give. And it's got to do with the pentacles, your own energy. It's got to do with the earth energy. It's got to do with finances and money, physical health, nutrients, minerals, reestablishing yourself, relocating yourself. All right. Interesting, Taurus. So we're looking at the dates of June 29th through July 23rd. I feel like that's a really important time. And it almost feels to me, Taurus, like this needs to be a conscious effort to reflect on this. It's important for you because it challenges your comfort zone. And some of you might be a little bit resistant to wanting to do that, stubbornly resistant. But it's like you're reestablishing your comfort zone gets challenged during this retrograde, but in a way that it's kind of like it's time for it, and you know it's time for it. Now, your super attractor oracle messages: I choose to be a super attractor and have unwavering faith, and I also like to say trust in the universe. I choose to be. Yes, Taurus, this is about choices for you. Kind of like Scorpio had choices, except Scorpio's more comfortable navigating the choices. If you have Scorpio and Taurus in your chart, maybe they will help to balance each other out. But something, to me, it feels like Taurus, it's high time for something to shift for you. It needs to, it needs to. And it's very much connected to the earth energy, so practical matters. Where you live, what you eat, who you're with, right? These kind of things. What's in the bank account, right? You're really looking at these things. All right. Wow, what a great Frequency Friday. To those of you who have stuck with me to the end here and have listened, thank you so much. I know life still happens, but it has been so fun. Again, let's wish all of our Geminis a very happy birthday. We had Yourself Evolved in Sync Coach. And if anyone is watching the replay, you're a Gemini, drop your birthday in. Let us all wish you a very happy rest of the Gemini season. We're not in Cancer season yet. We're not in the retrograde yet, although here comes this pre-shadow. So we are planning, but let's not forget to play. Remember, we got that play card from Gemini in the beginning, those Gemini energies. Let's not forget to have fun and to, just lighten the load sometimes. So you all know how to connect with me. Check out the description below. And we always say, stay tuned, stay true, and keep creating. I will see you all next time. Thank